أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. فسبحان الله حين تمسون وحين تصبحون، وله الحمد في السماوات والأرض وعشيا وحين تظهرون، يخرج الحي من الميت ويخرج الميت من الحي، ويحيي الأرض بعد موتها، وكذلك تخرجون. ومن آياته أن خلقكم من تراب، ومن آياته أن خلقكم من تراب ثم إذا أنتم بشر تنتشرون. ومن آياته أن خلق لكم من أنفسكم أزواجا لتسكنوا إليها، وجعل بينكم مودة ورحمة، إن في ذلك لآيات لقوم يتفكرون. ومن آياته خلق السماوات والأرض واختلاف ألسنتكم وألوانكم، إن في ذلك لآيات للعالمين.
الله أكبر.
بارك الله فيك. جزاك الله خير يا أخي بكر. نسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى أن يبارك فيكم وأن يبارك في هذا المجمع. بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا، من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. يقول الله عز وجل: يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها. بعد أن خلق الله عز وجل آدم خلق منه حواء، والله سبحانه وتعالى أمر آدم وزوجه وقال: وقلنا يا آدم اسكن أنت وزوجك الجنة وكلا منها رغدا حيث شئتما ولا تقربا هذه الشجرة فتكونا من الظالمين. أول قصة بدأ بها القرآن الكريم هي قصة سيدنا آدم عليه السلام وزوجه حواء، وهي بداية حياة الإنسان، وفيها لطائف ووقفات مهمة، وفيها تربية لبني آدم وموعظة وعبرة. ومن فوائدها أن الله عز وجل خلق حواء زوج آدم لتؤنسه ويسكن إليها، كما قال الله عز وجل: وجعل منها زوجها ليسكن إليها. فالزوجة سكن للزوج، ولا يتحقق هذا السكن إلا بالزواج. والخطاب هنا إلى آدم عليه السلام وإلى زوجته، يشعر بالرابطة الزوجية الحميمية القوية، حيث أن الزوجان قرينان، فالزواج تعايش وتكامل وتعاون. وقضايا الحياة الزوجية من استقرار وطعام وسكن وغيرهما تحتاج إلى هداية وتوفيق وامتثال لأوامر الله عز وجل. My dear brothers and sisters, verily Allah Azza wa Jalla, when He created Adam, inshallah, if we can, inshallah, just to have a little control over, inshallah, the kids, at least each and every one of us should take his, inshallah, his little boy or little girl in front of him, inshallah. Let's get into this habit of listening to what Allah and His Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said. It will be very advisable that we can, inshallah, have an atmosphere of serenity, an atmosphere where we can listen and benefit, inshallah, and maybe the kids will benefit from something, inshallah, that will benefit them in their life in this dunya and in the hereafter. So when Allah Azza wa Jalla created Adam, He created from within him his mate, Hawa. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وجعل منها زوجها. O mankind, fear your Lord who created you from one soul and created from it its mate and dispersed from both of them many men and women. Allah Azza wa Jalla, when He created Adam, the first story that the Quran speaks about is the story of Adam alayhi salam and his wife Hawa. And it illustrates the beginning of mankind, the beginning of the life of mankind. And in this creation of Adam, when He created Adam, Adam felt lonely. So Allah Azza wa Jalla, from within Adam, He created his soulmate, so that he will coexist with soulmates, so that they will have a compassion and love between them. And that's why it is important, my dear brothers and sisters, to understand that this bond of marriage is a very sacred bond. This bond of marriage between a husband and a wife is something that constitutes the essence and the core of the Ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And just bear in mind, now every effort is made so that this bond in the Muslim society, in the Muslim family, is targeted. They are trying to break this bond of the mutual marriage between a husband and a wife, and you know what I'm talking about. This is just a side note. But back to our subject, which is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created Adam, and He created for him his soulmate. And in this creation, there are many, many benefits that we can benefit from. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created Hawa for Adam so that they will comfort one another. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that in the Quran when He said, وَجَعَلَ مِنْهَا زَوْجَهَا. He created from Adam his soulmate, لِيَسْكُنَ إِلَيْهَا, so that they will comfort one another. And the message here is not only for Adam and Hawa. The message is for every married couple, husband and wife, until the day of judgment. Because marriage is a bond, a sacred one, that should be strong, based on La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. Because marriage is not just a relationship between a man and a woman. It's a compassion, it's mutual understanding, is clear communication, is sitting on the ground and one another with what pleases Allah Azza wa Jalla. And we will talk about who gave us the best example in terms of showcasing the marriage for us. Allah Azza wa Jalla, all the prophets and messengers, when He sent them, He sent with them their mates as well. They were giving da'wah with them as well. And you know many examples of that. Ibrahim alayhi salam, he was always with his wife, Hajar and Sarah. And Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam gave the best example. And Musa alayhi salam. But today, inshallah, we will talk about what constitutes this bond between a husband and wife? Is it beyond the marriage, beyond the mutual relationship? So that we can understand what will be a successful marriage in the household of a Muslim. There is no way in the world that you will find any book or any philosophy or any concept or ideas that illustrate the beautiful bond between a husband and wife more than the way it was illustrated and orchestrated by Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said in a hadith, خيركم لأهله وأنا خيركم لأهلي. Listen to this hadith. He said, the best amongst you, all the Ummah of Muhammad, the best amongst you is the one who is treating his wife the best. And he said, I, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the best man who ever treated his wives the way that Allah Azza wa Jalla loves and honors. The last words that came from the mouth of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam when he was on the verge of death, he was leaning or laying down on the lap, and she was wiping his face from the sweat that he was going through. And she hears him speak once in a while, and then he faints, and then he wakes up, and he speaks, and so on and so forth, until Allah took his soul. The last words that he spoke, he said, الصلاة وما ملكت أيمانكم. Listen to these two aspects that he said, or he gave as an advice to hold tight to them. He said, as-salat, twice. He said, hold on to the rope of as-salat, twice. Then he added to the salat, وَمَا مَلَكَتْ أَيْمَانُكُمْ, and what your right hand possesses. The ulama of tafsir, they said that it means your household. And who is in your household? Your wife, number one, and your children. So this institution of marriage in Islam is what these societies that are not Muslims trying to break. And you all know, to start with shaitan first. What does shaitan do? Every single day. You have to understand that this is the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Every day, at the end of the day, shaitan gathers his armies, the gangsters of his armies, the big soldiers of his armies, and he holds them accountable of what they did during the day. He brings the first one, he said, what did you do today? The shaitan will say, today I followed so-and-so until he committed zina. A Muslim, of course, not the kuffar, because kuffar, they are in his pocket. There is no need for shaitan to ask his soldiers about the kuffar, because that's given. He asked them about the Muslims. What did you do to the Muslims today? The first one will say, I followed so-and-so until he committed zina. He said, go to the side here. You didn't do anything. You haven't done anything. Second one, what did you do? I followed so-and-so until he killed his brother. Go, put yourself on the side. There's nothing, you haven't done anything. And so on and so forth. To the last one, he will ask him, what have you done today? He will say, I followed so-and-so until I separated him and his wife. Then shaitan will take that soldier of shayateen, he will put him on a throne, and he will point to him in front of all his peers. He will say, Anta, you are it. You are the one who I can crown today. Because shaitan understands that if you want to destroy a society, a Muslim society or a Muslim community, you have to start with destroying the bond between the husband and wife. Wallahi ya ikhwan, if we understand the constitution of marriage, and we understand that Allah Azza wa Jalla, when you marry that woman, you took her under your wing with the name of Allah. اتقوا الله في النساء فإنكم أخذتموهن بكلمة الله واستحللتم فروجهن بكلمة الله. Rasulullah said, fear Allah in your wives, because you took them under the oath of the word of Allah. So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, in going back to how Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, beside his responsibilities as a prophet, as a professor, as a leader, as a husband, as like a father, he did all of these chores, but yet at the end of the day, he exemplified for us the way how we should supposed to conduct ourselves in terms of our marriages and the relationship that we have with our spouses at home. And don't think that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam household was free of problems and troubles. Wallahi, if you read the biography of Rasulullah and his wives, just the way his relationship with his wives, you will be amazed. You will be amazed how Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam dealt with the problems inside his household. I will give you just a small example. Aisha, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, whenever he wants to go on a trip, he kind of put like some kind of, let's say like, let's put our numbers and which wives will go with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He selects through like some kind of like if you want to call it the lottery, who is going to go with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. From his 9 wives, who are those 2 wives that will go with him on a trip? They threw the chances, and Aisha and Safiya, both of them came. Their name was picked up, so they're gonna go with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to the trip. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in going with his 2 wives, Aisha and Safiya, he used to ride with one of them in the camel so that he can talk to her and chit chat with her, and the other one is riding on the other camel or horse. Listen to Aisha narrating this hadith. She said, I was with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam riding, and we were talking, and Safiya was by herself. Then Safiya, the next day, she said to Aisha, Ya Aisha, please let me ride on your camel the next day with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So the next day, Safiya, Rasulullah came and he found Safiya mounted the camel of Aisha. So he mounted in the camel with Safiya and they were going. Aisha is by herself on the other camel. From the jealousy of Aisha, she just spent the night before with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam talking, and now it's the time for Safiya. Aisha said, when Safiya was with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam talking to him, and I am looking at the end of the night, what did she do? She went and she brought some dry idkhir. Idkhir is like some kind of a plant in Medina or in the environment of Medina. She went and she put her feet inside those like dry plants. And she said, oh Allah, today I want you to inflict upon me a scorpion that will sting me, or like a serpent that will sting me. And I said that because I cannot tolerate from the ghairah, from jealousy. She wishes that a scorpion will sting her, or a serpent will sting her, instead of her seeing Safiya talking to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is how jealous they were with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And don't think that it was all good time in the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam when he is with his wives. The jealousy of the wives of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was tremendous, to the point that sometimes Abu Bakr and Umar, they intervene in the household of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. One time, Umar, he said, I was passing by the house of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he heard noise of his wives fighting, arguing with one another. And he passed and he saw Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam jathiman, he's sitting and he's quiet. Umar said, I will make Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam laugh. Because he saw him, he's quiet, and he doesn't say, and the wives are chit-chatting and arguing with one another. He said, Ya Rasulullah, if I take the neck of Hafsa and twist it, and Abu Bakr would take the neck of Aisha and twist it, and then Rasulullah started laughing. That's not what he wants to do. But it made Rasulullah laughing because of what he just heard from Umar. And these are Ummahat al-Mu'mineen. Rasulullah gave us the best example in fixing the problems that happen in his household in a very amicable way, in a very compassionate way. And you all know, when it was the time of Aisha, and Aisha, she was not a good cook, and all the wives of Rasulullah, they know that Aisha was not a good cook. And one of his wives, Sauda, she sent a dish full of food while Rasulullah is sitting with the Sahaba. Aisha got furious. She got super jealous, thinking that, oh, you think I cannot cook the food for Rasulullah? She took the dish and she slammed it to the ground, and he split in two, and the food was all scattered in the floor. What was the reaction of Rasulullah? He stood up and he gathered the food, he put it in a different plate, he put it in front of the Sahaba, and he said one statement, very simple, and he sealed the deal. He said, غارت أمكم عائشة. He said, your mother Aisha got jealous. And he smiled. You see how he fixed the problem and cut and dry. No more, why did you do this? Why did you do that? And another narration, he said, Ya Aisha, this plate with that plate. He took a clean plate from the household of Aisha and he gave it to Sauda, and he said, this one for that one, and the broken one, he left it for Aisha in her house. I would want to see if each and every one of us, how would he react in terms of, not even to the point that his wife slams the dish of plate. That's far-fetched. God forbid that she does that in your household. But I want to see how would you react if she did something that is not pleasant in the audience of your relatives or guests. How would you react? And you say, I love Rasulullah. Wallahi, I love him. And look how Rasulullah dealt with Aisha in the household of Rasulullah while he has guests. How would you react? That's when you can measure and gauge yourself how you are a follower of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, not only he cares about fixing the disputes between his wives, but yet he took it upon himself when they were coming from the battlefield, and Aisha, she lost a necklace. And it's not a diamond necklace or a gold necklace. She lost a necklace that was made from whatever ornaments that they used at that time. But yet she lost it. She said, "Farata minni iqdi." Oh, my necklace is not in my neck. It slipped from my neck, and Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam stopped the entire army. He said, stop right here. We're going to stay here until I go back and find the necklace of Aisha. Why Aisha? And not anyone else? Because Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said about Aisha, Inni razaqtu hubbaha. I was given in my heart the love, the deep love of Aisha. He was asked by Umar ibn al-As, Ya Rasulullah, who is the most beloved person in your heart? He said, Aisha. Then Umar ibn al-As, he said, who else? And listen to the answer of Rasulullah. He said, Abuha, her father. He contributed the love and the answer to the question twice on the favor of Aisha. He said, Aisha in the beginning, first answer, and then he said, Abuha. He did not say Abu Bakr. He said, her father. The love in twice contributed to Aisha in those two answers. So when he said, stop here, we're going to go back and look for the necklace of Aisha, they went and traced, they marched for a long distance until they got tired. Aisha and Rasulullah fall asleep in her lap. And the people there the army have no water, no wudu. They can't make wudu, there's no water to drink. And people start gathering up and saying to Abu Bakr, the father of Aisha, Ya Abu Bakr, your daughter held the entire army for her necklace. Abu Bakr, he went to trace back where Rasulullah and Aisha went. When he found them, Rasulullah, he was sleeping. He could not wake him up. What did he do? He was coming and poking Aisha in her waist. It's like, is this what you brought Rasulullah for? Is this what you held the army for? And Aisha, she said, I can feel the pain, but I cannot move because I don't want Rasulullah to wake up. Look how they treated each other. She took the pain that was inflicted by her father in her body so that she cannot wake up Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam woke up, he heard that conversation and he said, let's go. When they stood up and the camel stood up, they found the necklace under the camel. And they brought the necklace and went back to the army that was waiting for them in a far, far place. This is what Rasulullah ﷺ is doing for Aisha and for all his wives. He exemplified the peak of love and compassion and mutual understanding. My brothers and sisters, I don't want to take this too long for you, but if there is anything that you can treasure in your life, is the bond that you have between you and your wife and your children. Because wallahi, thumma wallahi, there is nothing that you should be afraid of more than the target that these people or any other people are targeting so that they can destroy the value of your family. Be mindful of that. If there is anything to be keen about, is the fact that you have to preserve your family. The entity of your family is the core value, is the column of this ummah. And fear Allah Azza wa Jal. When you have somebody in your household as your wife, understand that you took the oath in front of Allah that you will honor this wife. خير متاع الدنيا, as Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said. I will end with this. خير متاع الدنيا المرأة الصالحة. He said the best property that you can have, or the best value of this dunya, materialistic thing of this dunya, is to have a righteous wife. If you have a wife that is a righteous wife, she fears Allah Azza wa Jalla in you, and she does not bring anybody to your household who's not supposed to be in your household, and she is amina, a trustworthy over your wealth and your children and their education and their aqidah, wallahi, this is the best thing that you can own from this dunya. And if you have a righteous wife in this dunya, inshallah, she will be the princess of your wives in al-Jannah. You have to understand that that's a fact from Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So try to honor this institution of marriage. Try to honor this bond and this relationship that you have in your household between you and your wife. May Allah Azza wa Jalla give us the tabat in our deen and give us the wisdom to follow Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in terms of guarding and securing the bond of marriage between us and our household and our children. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you, bless this gathering, bless your wives, bless your children, and bless the newly married Brother Bakr and his wife, and any other inshallah like prospect inshallah bride and groom. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give them to each other in a way that pleases Allah. And may Allah Azza wa Jalla save this community and save the people of this community and the people who are custodian of this masjid. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you, bless your marriages, bless your wives, bless your children, and bless all your family and relatives. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. وصلى اللهم وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما. وبارك الله فيكم وجزاكم الله خيرا. Inshallah, if you have any questions that I can answer, I can answer it. If I don't have the answer for it, I will excuse and I'll say Allahu A'lam. Further, anybody? خلاص إن شاء الله Wallah, he made it so easy for me. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum.